I'd like to reflect on Boris Johnson, and I'd like to reflect on the fact that he's been a bit sort of mealy mouthed and timid. And Donald Trump's inflammatory comments about Ukraine and its wartime leader Zelensky need to be called out. And the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson's measured yet forceful condemnation of these remarks is to be um, to be praised in part. But why did it take him so long? And why, first of all, did he say, well, Trump doesn't quite mean what he says, blah, blah, blah? To begin with, let's consider the context. Trump has levelled accusations that not only mischaracterize Ukraine's role in the conflict with Russia, but also cast Zelensky, as wartime leader, in an unfounded light of dictatorship and such state, particularly when there really is a dictator next door in Putin or in the Smeg fridge, depending on how you want to interpret that concept. And this thing about Zelensky, it's not a mere difference of opinion. This was a deliberate distortion of fact, designed, it seems, to shift blame, muddy the truth about an ongoing crisis, and this rhetoric labelling a nation that is, by all accounts, striving for democratic freedom as an aggressor poses a direct challenge to the principles of truth and accountability in international relations. Now, I'm all one for a little bit of what shall we call it, play acting, or the distortion of truth in order to achieve a particular effect or achieve a particular end. Sometimes it's necessary. But I'm not for the character assassination of an individual whose back is against the wall and who is struggling to do the right thing, because I think Zelensky definitely is that person, and I think his country definitely is in that position. And what Trump did was unreasonable, wrong, and morally reprehensible in a way that so few other things are. In fact, I would say, in many ways, Trump's behavior almost eclipses the behavior of Putin. Not quite. I think I'm indulging in hyperbole there, but Trump's efforts to pull the rug out from under Zelensky's feet, these efforts are abhorrent, and they need to be called out. So why the delay by Boris? In international politics, every word carries weight, and it's often important to get there with speed, because in an attempt to damage imitation. So thinking about it too long, and by the time you thought about it and other people have weighed in and you're sort of 10th in line, actually you're not in a position to have any effect. You haven't done anything good. Leaders must often navigate the fine line between a measured response and an impulsive outburst, and each utterance has the potential to alter diplomatic dynamics significantly. In this case, Johnson appears to have initially chosen restraint, perhaps to avoid inflaming already sensitive tensions or to allow for a clearer picture to emerge, but now it's become evident that the misrepresentations were neither fleeting nor benign. He's recognised that a timely, robust denunciation was not only necessary but morally imperative, but he should have done it earlier. And you have to ask, why the delay? There comes a point in political discourse when pussyfooting around is no longer acceptable. There are moments when the gravity of a situation demands that we cast aside the inclination to simply curry favour or maintain a facade of calm, and in the face of sweeping distortions about the origin of the war in Ukraine, claims that not only betray a disregard for truth, but also risk undermining the solidarity of democratic nations. Boris Johnson chose finally to speak out. Well, great that he's finally speaking out, but this is now about Boris Johnson. It's not about helping Zelensky, and that's the big division. His condemnation was not merely a political manoeuvre, it was an ethical stance when it came, but it's too late. I'm all for a commitment to ensuring that truth, however inconvenient, remains at the heart of public debate, but not after a week. Trump's remarks, by attributing blame to Ukraine and casting Zelensky as a despotic figure, do more than misinform. They serve to distract from the real aggressors at play. They offer a convenient revisionist narrative that undermines not just Ukraine's struggle, but also the unity and the resolve of the international community. Johnson's response, sharp, clear, uncompromising, challenges the narrative, but too late. He reminds us that the pain and the suffering of Ukraine are real, that the people continue to endure in the face of unprovoked aggression appalling hardship, and that the truth of their struggle should never be sacrificed on the altar of political expediency. Great! But if he's so clear now, why wasn't he clear when Trump came out with this rubbish? Johnson doesn't merely dismiss the remarks as untrue. He points out that for those who love Ukraine and believe in its fundamental innocence, such distortions are not only misleading, they're deeply hurtful. Great! They strike at the very heart of what it means to support a nation fighting for its sovereignty and democratic future. By labelling these claims as flat-out lies, he not only rejects the specific misstatements, but also reaffirms the broader principle that factual accuracy and integrity must prevail, even when doing so risks upsetting political alliances or courting controversy. But he's late. And it feels as if Johnson is jumping on a bandwagon as he sees which direction the mood is going. It's also important to recognise that Johnson's reluctance to immediately launch into full-throated criticism is emblematic of the broader challenge in politics today. In an era characterised by rapid-fire media cycles and polarised public opinion, there is an ever-present temptation to either respond impulsively or conversely to delay responses in the hope that the controversy will dissipate. Well, this is one of those where he should have been impulsive. Truth is something that you impulsively know. And I think it's incumbent on world leaders to speak the truth when it needs speaking. And when the stakes are simply too high for delay, there should be no delay. This delay is inappropriate. In this instance, the misrepresentations about Ukraine were not ephemeral. They were part of a sustained narrative that has been pursued for years by Russia and that Trump, for some reason, has bought into. Why? Because it suits his political ambitions, it suits his pocket, or he's too stupid to be able to see that he's actually picking up a narrative that has already been designed for him by Putin and the people in the Kremlin. So it's part of a sustained narrative that, if left unchallenged, emboldens those who see international truth can be subverted for their own narrow political ends. And by eventually choosing to condemn Trump's remarks, Johnson has underscored an essential truth about leadership, that sometimes the demands of integrity require us to abandon caution. But he should have done that at the beginning. While diplomacy often rewards subtlety and measured restraint, there are moments when clarity and even bluntness is the only acceptable response. And in the words of Johnson himself, such representations are ghastly to hear. Indeed, in a world where misinformation can spread so quickly as a viral meme, there is a profound responsibility on the part of leaders to ensure that the truth is not only spoken, but defended and spoken fast. And the situation that invites us to reflect on the broader implications of political rhetoric is a situation exactly like this one. And there is time for reflection. Now is the time for reflection. Yesterday, the day before that, is a time to be making this statement. Boris is late. When influential figures engage in baseless attacks and distortions, the damage is not confined to the immediate political arena. It reverberates across borders and through communities, undermining trust in institutions, eroding the foundation of democratic discourse. And the false narrative that blames Ukraine for the aggression it's endured, isolating a nation already under siege, it serves to legitimize the very acts of aggression that it purports to explain away. Boris Johnson's condemnation is therefore a call to do the right thing, a call to all who value truth in public life, a call to encourage Trump to think again. But it's late. It's a reminder that while public political prudence may sometimes demand a degree of restraint, there are moments when the moral imperative to speak honestly and boldly must override any concerns about immediate political fallout. In defending the truth about Ukraine, Johnson reasserts the principle that even when the truth is inconvenient or unpopular, it is non-negotiable, and therefore the time to speak out is then, not now. And now, of course, speak out, for God's sake, get on record. But this is a favour to Johnson, it's not a favour to Zelensky. That time has passed. I hope this episode serves as a wake-up call, and serves as a demonstration of the balance between political strategy and moral responsibility. Boris Johnson's eventual, unambiguous rejection of Trump's flat-out lies is a testament to the enduring importance of integrity in leadership. It reminds us that while the art of politics often involves navigating complex and delicate situations, there are times when the truth must be articulated without compromise, when the defense of fact and principle takes precedence over the desire to maintain calm or to appease potential allies. So the critical role that factual accuracy plays in the health of our democracies must never be understated. It doesn't take four days to come to that conclusion. That should be evident like that. In an age where every statement is scrutinized and every misstep can have far-reaching consequences, the courage to speak the truth is not merely admirable, but it's essential. And if the truth is so evident, it was evident then, it doesn't need to wait till now to be articulated. So congratulations, Boris, in actually saying something. Congratulations in not excusing Trump any longer. But in condemning Trump, what Trump has said, it's all a bit too late.